We begin with some breaking news for you. A UN Commission of Inquiry has announced that an attack on an aid convoy in northern Syria last year was most likely a war crime deliberately carried out by Syrian or Russian planes. The attack on the Syrian Arab Red Crescent aid convoy in February 2016 killed at least 18 civilians, including an aid worker. The Commission also says regime jets intentionally bombed a Damascus water supply in December, cutting off 5.5 million people. For more on this, Ediz Tiyansan joins us live from Gaziantep near the Turkish-Syrian border. Now, Ediz, what more has the UN said?
Well, we've heard there from Zeid Ra'ad Al Hussein, the top UN human rights official, evaluating the latest report on the humanitarian situation on the ground, as well as the violations of the international humanitarian law on the ground in Syria. One of the main themes in his message was really about the arbitrary detentions, kidnapping and torture, which is very prevalent across the country in Syria. He appealed to both sides, the regime as well as some of the opposition groups, to halt any form of torture and executions, as well as to free detainees or at least provide basic information. As he emphasized at this point, neither the UN human rights body nor any of the international human rights groups have any access to these facilities around the country. And as he put it, he said, today, in a sense, the entire country has become a torture chamber, a place of savage corner and absolute injustice. This goes to show how terrible the situation it has become as this conflict enters its 7th year. And towards the end, he also emphasized his frustration indirectly because so far any efforts made towards ending this, as he put it, a senseless carnage has been vetoed, has been pushed away by veto. There was an indirect reference there to Chinese and Russian vetoes to all of the Security Council propositions that have been put forward so far. And remember that the point of this report and this press conference is to also get more attention, draw more attention of the Security Council.
And now the UN Commission also suggested cases of war crimes being committed in Syria. Which incidents are they referring to here?
Especially among many, I think two really stand out. One, as you mentioned before, and as we've repeatedly heard on the ground as well, even those local rescue workers are doing their job under extremely dangerous circumstances. We're often getting reports that their own staff and vehicles are targeted. In one specific case, the UN Commission of Inquiry also says that a Red Crescent vehicle and its staff was deliberately targeted by the Syrian regime Air Force, which was also backed by Russian Air Force. So this is quite significant. There are accusations, and it's a serious accusation towards both the Syrian regime and the Russians as well, that they have deliberately targeted rescue workers on the ground. And I think another incident that also merits attention is an allegation, or at this point, as part of the report, they accuse the Syrian regime of also carrying out airstrikes at some of the water facilities just outside of Damascus back in December. After this bombardment, 5.5 million civilians around the city, mostly in opposition-held areas, were deprived of water. The Syrian regime at the time claimed that opposition forces were trying to contaminate the water, but the report clearly says that those accusations were also not right. None of the armed groups were trying to either attack nor contaminate those water supplies.
Ediz Tiyansan live for us from the Turkish-Syrian border. Thank you very much for that update.